Ukraine's F-16 fighter jets are changing aerial warfare laws. These cutting-edge aircraft represent a renewed commitment to reclaiming the sky. These jets intercept hostile threats and boost ground forces with stunning precision on every mission. The airfight is becoming a spectacular display of creativity and resilience as Ukrainian pilots improve and F-16s proliferate. Russia's devastating missile and drone attack, known as the largest missile and drone strike against Ukraine. Putin ordered a missile and drone attack on various Ukrainian cities on August 26, 2024, while still reeling from the Kursk invasion. Russia launched at least 127 missiles and 109 drones in an 8-hour bombardment on 15 locations, ABC News said. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called the attack wicked and said that Russia was again bombing civilian facilities with missiles and drones. At least 7 people died and 47 were injured, 4 of whom were children, according to Ukraine's state emergency agency. Everything could have been worse. It wasn't because Ukraine was able to defend against this missile and drone attack with its air defense systems and a weapons platform Zelensky has long stated Ukraine needs. Over time, a cruise missile-firing weapon system may help Ukraine compete with Russia in aerial combat. The discussion is about the F-16. August 26th was the first time Ukraine employed F-16s to battle Russia, and Russia launched its greatest missile and drone strike against Ukraine. In this video, we'll analyze how Ukraine employed its new multi-role fighters, its F-16 aspirations, and its ongoing struggles to gain aerial superiority over Russia. Ukraine's F-16 acquisition and deployment. Zelensky has suggested that American-made F-16s may help Ukraine win the conflict since the outset. He believed the planes would help Ukraine to generate small pockets of air supremacy over Russia's opponent, especially when deployed in combined ground operations to reclaim land Russia had taken. Zelensky was delayed. And wait, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, and the Netherlands created a fighter jet coalition in July 2023 to send Ukraine 85 F-16s. That may seem like Ukraine received these fighter jets in 2023, but it didn't. A rigorous training program was required for its pilots to use those planes in Ukraine. These pilots are used to Soviet-era platforms like the MiG-29. Therefore, it would take months to learn the F-16. The American multi-role fighter typically trains for 18 months. Even though that training was accelerated into a 6-month program, the F-16s wouldn't arrive in Ukraine until long after the coalition commitment. The planes haven't reached us in 18 months, Zelensky said in July 2024, adding that F-16s would assist Ukraine clear the skies. Zelensky was relieved to not have to wait long for F-16s. On August 4, 2024, Zelensky stood at an undisclosed Ukrainian airbase with 2 of the first 6 F-16s the country had received. "We got F-16s in Ukraine," he declared, thanking coalition leaders and emphasizing that Ukraine needed more. Ukraine may obtain 20 F-16s by 2024 and 65 more later. These first 6 will help Ukraine's Air Force shift away from Soviet systems. After 3 weeks, Russia's Dread missile and drone attack occurs on August 26th. It was time for F-16s to shine. Early F-16 combat experience and lessons. In its August 27th story on Russia's missile and drone strike, Sandbox News detailed Ukraine's F-16 use. Russia fired 127 missiles and 109 drones to Ukraine, but most were intercepted or shot down. 99 of 109 drones and 102 Russian missiles were downed. While Ukrainian anti-air defenses were credited with most of these interceptions, Sandbox reports that Ukraine had deployed its F-16s for the first time and shot down several cruise missiles en route to Kyiv and other locations. After that, the report became hypothetical. Sandbox didn't know how many F-16s Ukraine had deployed defensively or what missiles they shot down. It's improbable that F-16s were utilized to shoot down ballistic missiles like the Iskander-M because their flight profiles are tough to counter. Sandbox argues these F-16s are more likely to have destroyed Russia's surface and air-launched cruise missiles in Ukraine. It mentions the Russian Kh-101 and K-59, which fly like tactical aircraft rather than ballistic missiles. These missiles have jet engines like previous jets, giving them a heat signature the F-16's missile systems can track. Due to their jet engines, the missiles fly lower and more horizontally than ballistic missiles. They cannot defend themselves against a fighter jet that can fly faster and follow them due to their engines, which top out at 600-700 barometer. Add that Ukraine has already shown off F-16s with air-to-air munitions like AIM-120B missiles and Sidewinder missiles with infrared targeting, and it's clear that Ukraine intended to use its new planes as air defense assets. During Russia's comprehensive missile and drone offensive, the F-16s took out cruise missiles while Ukraine's ground-based anti-air defenses targeted ballistic missiles and drones. Sandbox believes Ukraine used AIM-9M Sidewinders, which have a 10-mile range, so any jet firing them would have to get close to a target. F-16s can fly at 1345 mph and cruising speeds of 575 mph. Therefore, Ukraine could have used them to track, catch, and destroy Russian cruise missiles. Sandbox notes were utilized in the attack. Ukraine may have used the F-16's M61 Vulcan 20mm rotary gun, though doubtful. The F-16's 6-barrel guns can fire 7,200 rounds per minute, but only when within 2,000 feet of the target. They could have been utilized, but a pilot would have had to go near a cruise missile, risking a debris cloud that may destroy the F-16. All of this gives us some insight into Ukraine's F-16 use. This initial batch appears to supplement the country's aerial defenses. Ukraine hasn't employed F-16s with ground troops on or behind the battle lines. Instead, they're likely targeting cruise missiles that Ukraine's ground-based anti-air systems can't track. A second missile and drone attack 2 days after the initial attack provided more information. It also demonstrated the dangers F-16 pilots face when they enter the cockpit. Russia fired another missile at Ukraine on August 29th, according to Task and Purpose YouTube. 5 missiles and 74 drones attacked Ukrainian power plants in this smaller strike than the horror. Ukraine reacted with an F-16 to destroy as much as possible. Then catastrophe struck. Politico claims Colonel Alexei Mess, who flew the F-16 that shot down the missiles and drones, had long advocated for Ukraine to receive sophisticated fighter jets. On August 29th, Mess, aka Moonfish, flew one of the jets against the Russian missile and drone attack. He failed. The Ukrainian Army General Staff said that Moonfish had used his F-16's airborne weaponry to take down 4 Russian missiles early on. Moonfish, one of the first Ukrainian F-16 pilots, struggled after that. One aircraft lost touch while approaching the next target. It turns out the plane crashed. The message said the pilot was gone. Ukraine has not confirmed if Moonfish was shot down or if the pilot or mechanical problems crashed his F-16. Unfortunately, Ukraine lost a good pilot and one of its 6 F-16s from the original delivery, leaving it with 5 until the next batch arrives. It was a painful episode for the country, but it had some success. Moonfish destroyed 3 attack missiles and 1 drone before his plane crashed. Combining this with the much better response to the horrific strike 2 days previous shows Ukraine is starting to find out how to deploy its F-16s to turn the tide against Russia. All of which raises an important question. We've learned what? These early engagements demonstrate Ukraine is careful with its F-16s, according to Royal United Services Institute Senior Research Fellow Professor Justin Bronk on the Ward Carroll YouTube channel. The Ukrainians' F-16 work is encouraging, but we're not seeing much. They seem cautious with them. Bronk speculated that they're practicing the scattered operation concept. Ukraine's early caution is sensible, since it tempers the joy of finally acquiring F-16s with the fact that it only has 6 as of this video. The deployment is limited defensively. There are no known F-16 uses near the front lines, which Bronk says is more perilous. They're also not supporting the Kursk invasion, so Ukraine is either still figuring out how to deploy more offensively or waiting for more of the promised 85 F-16s. As we witnessed with Moonfish, early confrontations are risky, but Ukraine feels its F-16s are best deployed in solitary combat, which leads to their air defense duty. Task and Purpose notes that the F-16 Ukraine lost wasn't flying near Kursk or the border where fighting is ongoing. It appears that Ukraine prefers to utilize its F-16s for air defense. Therefore, they will likely remain interceptors for the foreseeable future. This interception approach has another benefit, according to the same station. Task and Purpose notes that Ukraine has a limited number of interceptor missiles, but F-16's sophisticated sensors allow them to shoot down missiles and drones, freeing up older aircraft for hazardous frontline missions. Though paradoxical, this technique makes sense. Advanced NATO weaponry expands capabilities. The arrival of F-16 fighter jets has significantly upgraded Ukraine's aerial arsenal, offering access to NATO's modern weaponry and overcoming the limitations of Soviet-era systems. Previously, Ukrainian pilots relied on outdated R-60 and R-27 missiles from the 1980s, which required pilots to maintain direct aim at targets, leaving them vulnerable to enemy fire. In contrast, Russian pilots used advanced R-77 fire-and-forget missiles, enabling greater effectiveness and safety. With the F-16, Ukraine can now deploy the AEM-120 AMRAAM, a cutting-edge active radar missile with beyond visual range capabilities. This supersonic missile delivers warheads over 20 miles away, surpassing the capabilities of Russian systems. As more F-16s arrive, Ukraine plans to use them not only for air defense, but also for intercepting Russian glide bombers and supporting ground operations, potentially shifting the dynamics of the conflict. For now, Ukraine is employing a defensive strategy with its F-16s, preparing for more comprehensive use as the fleet expands and pilot training advances. These jets represent a crucial step in bolstering Ukraine's air power and reshaping its response to Russian aggression. Future strategic opportunities. Ukraine's recent integration of advanced defensive measures into its F-16 fighter jets highlights a strategic effort to counter Russia's aerial and missile capabilities. On August 4th, Zelensky showcased F-16s equipped with enhanced systems, including pylon-integrated dispensers and electronic combat systems, enabling the jets to jam missile radar signals and evade ground-based anti-aircraft systems. The addition of an AAR-60 missile warning system further boosts survivability, crucial for Ukraine's interception missions and potential frontline operations. As Ukraine adopts a layered air defense strategy, experts like Justin Bronk emphasize the F-16's role in disrupting Russia's air supremacy rather than achieving full control. Despite losing 368 planes and 328 helicopters, Russia maintains a significant aerial threat. Ukraine's strategy aims to protect its airspace, reduce missile strikes on critical sites, and pressure Russian forces to withdraw from air bases. Complementing the F-16s are Saab 340 radar aircraft, donated by Sweden in 2024. These advanced planes detect threats from long distances, relaying data to F-16s for precise interception. This pairing significantly enhances Ukraine's defensive and offensive capabilities, potentially deterring costly Russian missile strikes and contributing to the broader conflict strategy. Challenges remain, including limited F-16 numbers, incomplete pilot training, and restricted access to advanced weaponry. However, Ukraine's effective initial use of F-16s demonstrates their potential to weaken Russia's aerial dominance, drain its resources, and extend the war of attrition. Combined with other strategies, these efforts aim to keep Putin off balance, ultimately pushing towards negotiation. What do you think about Ukraine getting F-16s? Does Ukraine employ them well, and do you believe it will adapt or build on existing plans as more multi-role fighters arrive? Thanks for watching the video. Leave a comment. See you later.